Welcome back, guys. Thank you for tuning in on today's video. As you can see, we are underneath Towpig 3.0, the 2017 Ford F350, and we are going to be working on a transfer case output seal today. This is something I've kind of put off for a little too long, and I'm going to show you guys why we need to get it taken care of right away now. And yeah, we're going to go through the procedure, show you guys this. So when I first bought this truck, I did notice that it was leaking from the transfer case output seal right here. It was very, marginal, but then over the last like 15 to 20,000 miles, it has progressively grown. Now I do stay up to date on our fluid levels, checking it through that plug. It is starting to drop a little bit, still has plenty of transfer case fluid in it, so this thing just kind of slowly seeps, and of course it makes it look way worse than it really is. You can see on our big S&B tank here, we've got a bunch of fluid along there, and then if you look above here, you can see it's just making a mess underneath the cab here, just absolutely everywhere, coating everything in oil. So yeah, it's time, it's time to quit beating around the bush. Let's get this thing taken care of. First thing we got to do is we got to drop the drive shaft. Some of you guys are going to have a slip yoke here, and in your case, well, you got to remove the whole drive shaft, but then you just got to slip it out and you can get right to your seal. For those of you that have the flange, so you can see this is a U-joint strap flange, or some of you guys are actually going to have a flat face flange, and 4 bolts around there. So either way, the front part of this drive shaft has to be removed. So we've got the strap style, so we got to grab our 3/8 12 point and pull our straps off, and then we can get the drive shaft out of the way. So this job is very much a driveway job here, but if you have a style like this, it's good practice. Grab yourself a paint marker and just mark. Let's keep track of where things are. We're gonna have that U-joint. We're gonna make sure it goes back on this side of the flange. It really doesn't matter in most cases, but for this instance, like I said, it's really good practice. We can get that position in the exact same position, and we don't have to worry about any balancing or weird issues that may arise from, possibly 180ing this. We can just put it back into its factory position. If you are having to remove the carrier bearing, Ford on these 2017 and newer trucks, they are really good about Loctiting every nut and bolt along this truck. So before you put an impact on this thing, and all you do is just break this little nut clip here, get on the top side of this and just give it a little bit of heat. That little bit of heat's going to help loosen up that blue Loctite, and then that bolt's going to spin right out, and you're not going to be cussing at yourself because now you got to put a normal nut on the top side, or you end up having to cut this off so that you can actually get the carrier bearing off. You don't want to have to deal with that. So just grab a little bit of heat that guy up, and then it'll spin right out. I always make note of how much protrusion I have through the nut of our output shaft here. So, it's basically flush, really, on this particular transfer case. So I always like to make note of that, more of like once I have this guy, the new one installed, I can reference, yep, after we torque it, if I like the positioning, it's just kind of triple checking, making sure everything is where it needs to be. So 1.5 inches is what we're looking at here. Make sure you get a socket, that's gonna fit inside of here. Yeah, we're gonna hit this guy with an impact. Just grab a hold of this with your hand, 1/2 inch impact, and that nut's gonna come right off. Once you have the nut off, you will notice there is a washer inside of here, so you're gonna want to take that guy off. Now, I was getting this guy set up here, and I was tightening it by hand, right? And the flange is walking off just like that. I mean, easy peasy. Okay, guys, so we got the flange off of there, and we need to do inspection. This is gonna be true for you guys with slip yokes as well. Where that seal rides, we need to take a real good look and make sure we don't have a lip right here. We don't have an edge. You can see there's like a shadow that's there, but we don't really have, we can't catch anything with our fingernail or anything like that. Feels nice and smooth. No concerns. We can reuse this flange, but that's the first thing you want to take a look at, because if you got to order a flange, well, yeah, that's really gonna put a dampener in your project. So at this point, we got to figure out how to get this seal out. A lot of times there's an edge out here that you can get your punch behind or your chisel and get it out. Well, these ones on these transfer cases are flush, so they sit flush. So we actually need to get in and behind and pry it this way. This is very similar to like a rear main seal, front main seal type thing on an engine. Another option is going to be to put screws, take a screw and put it into this seal, and then we can tap it out that way, because now we got something to grab. So we're going to figure out something, and we'll get it set up. All right, so method to the madness here. It's pretty easy. So we've got, we took a small drill bit and we drilled into our seal. What you'll notice is the seal has this metal ring on the back side. So you just want to make sure wherever you drill, you're kind of getting into the center of that. So we drilled our holes, and then we grabbed 2 screws. I wish I had, these screws had bigger heads, but, and we got our 2 screws, screwed into there. Just like that. You can see they're in there a little bit. And then we're basically just getting behind the head of this screw and prying out. And because of the way the seal is designed on this outer edge, and it came out beautifully. It came right out. So we really just needed a good way to grab a hold of that thing. So now I've got this spring brake tool, okay? And that's what we did. So pressed against the transfer case, and we were able to get that right there, and then pry it out, and pop, there she is, good to go. Now you're gonna lose a little bit of fluid, okay? So make sure you got a drain pan, make sure your mouth isn't open. We're gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up. I was gonna mention too, I didn't want to get a tool in there and get behind it, because if you damage this surface right here where that seal is sealing, then you might end up with more problems than you would want. So yeah, that method with the 2 screws worked really well. Got it popped out. Like I said, we'll get this guy cleaned up, and then we will get our new seal prepped up. Part number, of course, always verify, but this should be true for most of your 2017 and newer trucks. If you've got a flange style anyways. I think the slip yoke style is different, but flange style, there you go with that part number. And then, like I said, I would recommend replacing the nut. And there you go with the part number for the nut. Okay, so we're preparing our new seal for installation. Something I like to do on, this is true for pinion seals as well. They got this little spring on the back side here. I usually throw a little grease on there, just because when we're tapping this guy in, I don't want that spring to pop out of there. So I just throw a little bit of grease on there like that. As far as the tool goes, this is not the correct tool, okay? If you want to spend the $200, you can get the correct tool. But basically, we just need to get out to this edge, and so we've got, that we're hitting on the metal part there, and driving this seal in. You want to be careful you're not going to drive this seal in too far. The specialty tool will not allow you to drive it in too far. But if you're not going to use that tool, you got to pay attention. This seal's basically going to sit flush, or just past the outer flange of our transfer case. So if you have a piece of like 3-inch PVC, that would also work as well. It's not going to take much to push this guy in. Now, what I like to do is I will use dish soap on the outer edge of this. I don't like to use oil. I'll use dish soap as my lubricant. And it really, honestly, this thing reminds me of a 6-liter front and rear main seal, honestly. So that's what we're gonna do. I've always used dish soap on those seals, and that's what we're gonna use on this one. So don't be the guy that just takes one big swing and smacks this thing in here. Take your time, slowly tap it, work it in. A lot of times these seals like to get a little cockeyed, and you'll have to kind of add a little more pressure over here and maybe not so much pressure over there, and just work it in nice and slowly. That's why we put the dish soap on there, okay? Water and dish soap, because we're using that as our lubricant. And you can see we've got it in there. It's nice and flush. And what I ended up doing is I just took my hammer here, and I just kind of tapped around the outside edge here until it was nice and flush against this surface. Okay, so the flange is back on. You can see our orange mark, and our orange mark slipped right on. And I wanted to show you guys before we put our flat washer back on, there is a seal, okay, that sits down inside of there. The reason they have this seal is because in theory, the fluid could leak through the splines of the output shaft, okay? So you can pick this up. They do sell these, but most of the time these are reusable. You can stick them back in there. Then you got your big flat washer, and then of course the new nut that we like to replace going back on. So I just wanted to make mention of this seal. Pay attention, it's there, and be careful with it, because if you do tear it, then you for sure should replace it. Back in the day, we used to take like a thread sealant and we would just kind of inside of the splines of our flange here before we stuck it back on. But yeah, I guess Ford has engineered this little seal instead. All right, so we got the flange reinstalled. 76 foot-pounds on this unit, and like I said, reference, it actually feels like maybe it went in a little bit. We got a little bit of protrusion coming from the output shaft, and so I'm wondering if that nut wasn't coming loose, maybe just a scotch on our old one. Nonetheless, that is on and torqued. Truck was in park, so we don't have to hold the flange or anything like that. Just go to torquing. And of course, yes, we did put a little blue Loctite on that nut as well. Doesn't seem like something we would want coming loose, you know? So yeah, it got the Loctite. Got our flange cleaned up, and yeah, we can go ahead and put this back on. I always clean up the hardware, okay? I think Ford tells you to replace the hardware. Okay, they use this like yellow thread locker, but I always clean these up, and we can go ahead and reuse these. I always inspect the straps, make sure the straps look okay, not all bent up or nothing like that. We'll go ahead and reuse that stuff after we get it cleaned up. A little bit of blue Loctite on those bolts. Always, always, always use blue Loctite on your drive shaft hardware bolts. Okay, so we got our drain plug out, got our fill plug out, and anytime we have like a seal like this that's leaked, I always like to just double check the vent. So if we come over on the driver's side of the transmission, up in here, this is my vent hose that goes to the transfer case. So you just reach up in there, you're gonna feel it. It goes to the transfer case, you're gonna twist and pull, and it'll pop right off. And then I like to use compressed air to blow into this and make sure that it is nice, clean, and clear. If your vent is plugged, you could end up with a front output shaft seal leak and a rear one. So just really good practice to make sure that the vent is clear. So with more things buttoned up, we need to fill our transfer case full of fluid. The flavor of choice is Mercon LV, but we are going to be switching over to Schaefer's. You can see Mercon LV there. So this is going to be compatible for our transmission, transfer case, power steering fluid, etc. For the method of madness here, we can see got this little plunger deal. So we'll suck it out of there, shove this hose into our port there, and that should do the trick. We've got some pretty tight clearances with this fuel tank. Well guys, after 2 quarts back into the transfer case, truck is good to go. And let me tell you, nothing feels better after you've done some basic maintenance on your truck. I mean, seriously, it makes you really feel good, you know, that you're really taking care of your truck, and I promise you, it's totally worth it. You know, you make little changes like increasing the quality of the fluid, stuff like that. Really just, it gives you a good feeling and gives you the confidence in your truck. This job is wrapped up. I hope this was helpful for some of you guys out there. I couldn't really find a whole lot of information about guys doing the rear transfer case output seal, and I've seen quite a few come through the shop here. So hopefully this helps you. Very much a driveway job for you guys out there. Just a couple of minor things as far as toolage, like getting that seal to press in and whatnot, that you're going to need to kind of prepare for before tackling this job. So hopefully this was informative and helpful for you guys. Drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe if you're new. We've got a lot more coming on the big girl back behind us. Thanks guys for tuning in. Catch you in the next video. Peace.